Hey guys, thanks for sticking with us so far through our news and NHL news for the week. So last thing on the to-do list tonight, uh, we're going to discuss our top five rookies that are coming in this year. So the criteria of this list is basically just going to be they got to have less than 25 games played in the NHL. They got to be drafted by an NHL team. They don't necessarily have to be a Calder candidate or well, I guess all of them are, but not someone you would say is going to win the Calder, but just like who you think is the best
NHL
NHL
affiliated
prospect.
prospect. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. So we got a list of 1 to 5 here. So one being the best, five being um, our
The
fifth
fifth
ranked
best.
prospect. Yeah, geez, I almost just said one one
Being
being
the
the best,
worst.
last being the worst. Holy shit.
The fifth best prospect in our eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, you should just do the introduction. I'm fucking butchering this.
That's
So
fine.
anyway, I'll save the listeners some nerves here. Who's your fifth top ranked prospect?
It's a goalie. Yaroslav Askarov. That's a weird name, but it's
Yeah, I
Russian.
like it
So
though.
um, bef- he was drafted 11th overall in 2020. He's 19 years old, 6'4", 176 pounds. I mean, the guy's huge. He's young. He's a great goalie, and he catches with the right glove. We talked about Cal Peterson earlier. Catching with the right glove.
Yeah.
That throws players off, man. That's got a weird advantage. Sorry, I think in the league, because players are so used to majority of the time shooting. You know, knowing the blockers on the right side. When you got a glove, it's a different aspect. You almost got to shoot differently. I know for myself, I found that too when I played beer league with guys who catch right because I have, and it's different when you're going down on the goalie. It's a different feel, and
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely see that. Just like I was just talking earlier about say a Phil Kessel type player like coming down, cutting across the middle of the ice and just ripping one blocker side because that's usually a goalie's weaker spot. But if you got a glove there and he's got a fast glove that ass grab and he's quick too in the crease, like
he's
you're not
good.
scoring those goals that you would usually score.
Yeah, I mean he's a great goalie, and I think he's a future Vezina winner, man. He's just good. Listen to this guy's stats now. I didn't write down wins because I didn't want to focus on the wins because I don't think the wins are important here because that represents team more than the goalie.
Yeah,
So I didn't write down the wins, but I wrote down the games played, the goals against average, the save percentage. Before I get into the stats for Russian leagues, so I want to explain this. The MHL is like the major junior of Russia. The
yeah,
VHL is like the AHL, and the KHL is like the NHL. If you were to put it in perspective like that.
yeah.
So
In North American terms.
yeah, so in 1920 in the VHL, which is an AHL level league, a pro league, he played 18 games. I think he was at 18, 17, 18 years old at the time, playing in a pro league. 18 games played, 2.45 goals against average, and a 920 save percentage. Great
Yeah,
numbers.
920's elite. 920's
That
elite.
year, that year he played one game in the KHL, the second best league in the world as a 17 or 18-year-old goalie. 2 goals against average, 920 save percentage, same as the BHL. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's only one game, but still that's top league for an
That's good
18-year-old.
numbers. Yeah. The next year, 2020, 2021, he plays 2 games in the MHL, which is like major junior. He has 0.50 goals against average, not even like a goal a game average. It's insane. And he has a 979 save percentage in the major junior to Russia. That's
I've
like
never even seen a save
intense.
percentage that high before.
No, me either. I mean, this guy's elite, man. He plays
Yeah,
in the VHL, comparable to the AHL. Again, I'll keep mentioning it in case people listening don't get a hold on it. He plays 6 games, 2.12 goals against average, and 923 save percentage. So, I mean, elite
yeah,
for a
he's
young
never been
guy.
under. He's never been under a 920.
Get this now. 2020, 2021 plays 9 games in the KHL, second best league in the world, 1.21 goals against average, 951 save percentage in 9 games as an 18-year-old goalie.
Crazy.
951 save percentage. Now we're into this year. I got stats on this player from this year because the KHL season starts early. So we've got a few games here.
Yeah,
He's played 2 games in the VHL this year. He's at 1.50 goals against average and a 940 save percentage. He's played 1 game in the KHL so far this year. He's got a .00 goals against average, and a 944 save percentage. Over the last 3
Crazy.
years, in 3 different leagues, his lowest save percentage at any point was 920, and it's not over a long period of games. So let's say he played one game 1 year in the VHL and just had a bad game, he'd like have an 870 save percentage. This guy doesn't have bad games. So I mean
No,
that's
I've
pretty
I've
intense.
never seen him play a bad game. I've only watched him really at the World Juniors. But
He's elite,
no,
man. I
the
think he's
guy's
gonna be better than
insane.
Spencer Knight.
Yeah, he could. Um, for sure. And I mean, there's a lot of really good young goalies, and it seems like
Yeah.
they all come from well, a lot of them come from
Europe.
Europe, man. Like
Yeah.
Jesper Wallstedt. Right now, I knew people were talking about him, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have the quickness I find like that um Askarov does. Like watching him
Yeah.
play, he gets around the crease so quick just on in the butterfly position, and he's
Yeah.
everywhere. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just weird seeing a goalie still catch right-handed though.
Yeah, it
Like
is. It's a bit
that's the only
weird.
thing I found weird about his
Yeah.
game. But yeah, there was comparisons to Carey Price, to Fleury with him,
Yeah.
Dom Hasek, just the way he rolls around in the crease.
He's a
Feel
good
like
goalie, man.
Askarov's crazy in the crease. I love it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
That shows that
And
like he just wants to do anything to get in front of the
yeah.
puck.
And before we move on, I'm gonna try and speed this up. I don't want to be here forever. I don't want to leave everybody here forever. I took some strengths and weaknesses that I found on the internet because I don't really know because I don't watch every prospect, but I got this from the
Yeah,
hockeywriters.com. I figured I'd put that in there because that's where I got these strengths and weaknesses from. Um, Apparently, his strengths are his athleticism, his glove hand, his puck tracking, and his positioning. So that's what you want a goalie to be good at. He's good at. He's pretty much good at everything. The only thing that
yeah,
they say is a big weakness for him is he is going down too early. He drops before he needs to, and
yeah,
sometimes it'll put him out of position. So I mean that kind of comes with experience. The more he plays, the more he's going to be used to. He's going to get used to where he needs to be and when he needs to be down, when he needs to be up. So there's not
for
much to
sure.
say.
Yeah, for sure. And I heard a lot of young goalies have that problem. Grant Fuhr was talking about it in an interview. He was saying,
Yeah,
I hate watching young goalies now because they're on their knees now before the puck even comes off the stick. Like, and obviously he played in a time where it was stand-up goalie. There was no
yeah,
butterfly until the '90s, right?
yeah,
So he's but he says that's how a lot of goalies are getting beat like up high now
yeah,
is because they drop too quick.
yeah.
Yeah, but great pick. Like honestly, I think Askarov will be a Vezina winner, and I think maybe even a Hart winner because I think
He's really
he's so
good. He's
important for
elite.
every team he plays with, and he gives every team he plays with like such a huge advantage.
Lowest save percentage 920 over 3 years on 3 different clubs every year.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah, I like to see him play in North America at some point,
Yeah,
either this year or next year, just
yeah.
to see
Hopefully he does.
where he's to. But I'll definitely be looking out for his stats in the KHL because I
Yeah,
assume he is going to play in the KHL because you
yeah.
can't
Pretty
send a
much.
goalie like that down to the junior league again or
No,
AHL league
he's pretty much
or
consistent
VHL.
KHL at this point until he signs in North America, and then maybe he plays a few games in the AHL to get ready, and then he moves up to the NHL.
Yeah,
Mhm.
awesome. My fifth ranked prospect is none other than Quentin Byfield. Uh, I don't have crazy stats going back, but I will throw his recent numbers at you. So I think he had a great year in the AHL for an 18-year-old. So in 32 games with the Ontario Reign, he scored 8 goals and 12 assists for 20 points. I don't think that's as bad as a first-year pro, just where he's trying to find his way. And it's hard making that leap from juniors. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah,
Um, that year, he also had 6 games in a show, and he only got 1 assist, but I thought he looked pretty good. Like, I was watching highlights of him, just like, I don't know. I feel like he's got a really accurate shot. He obviously didn't prove it in those 6 games where he wasn't playing a big role, but I think if he gets in with the team now, I think he'll be playing second line for sure. Like,
he's a pedigree thing.
I know there's great players ahead of him, like Iafolo and
Dunno,
he's
Kopitar.
oh god, yeah, yeah. Never mind, I didn't think about Dino, so he will probably get third line. Um, but he might start off on the wing too. I think
Yeah,
he's natural
very well could
center,
be.
but I mean, there's no harm in putting a center on the wing. Like it's harder for a winger to play center, I think, than the
Yeah,
other way around.
I mean, he's 6'4", man. He's 220. Um,
Put him on the
he, he,
PP and just park him in front of the net.
that's where he goes. That's where he's always been, and he's
Yeah.
similar to Evgeny Malkin. And a lot of people have said that he's got that size and he's got the skill to go along with it, man. So I think this guy's gonna be very successful, and he might show up on my list yet, considering I knew his height and weight pretty well.
Yeah. Hey, you don't have that just wrote down there by chance, do
No.
you? Yeah. But I don't know. Even though he didn't get any points or not any goals or big points in the 6 games he was in, I think he did learn a lot, and he was able to bring that back and work on it when he was back in the AHL
Yeah.
and try to come into his own. So I think next year will be his season, and I think he is the 5th best NHL affiliated prospect right now, but I don't think he wins the Calder just because I don't think he gets those reps that other players are going to get next year.
Yeah, and that's a good way to look at it too. You got players who are going to get more ice time than this guy.
Yeah, and so I don't know if
Excuse
they
me.
want to keep him in the minors until there is a spot in the top 6 for him.
You know, it
I
wouldn't
mean, you
hurt.
can play him on the wing for sure.
I don't think it would
on the
hurt to
power
put him
play.
in the minors for another year, first line center, man. It's not
Yeah.
going to hurt.
And I mean, if he's absolutely lighting it up, then just bring him up because he's
Yeah.
obviously just gonna help the NHL team a lot more than the AHL team. Yeah, so that's my 5th. Well, you already kind of pointed to it, so we'll skip right over and go into your 4th, because
Yeah.
you might have more to say on this man later on.
Yeah, I think I do.
So, who's at number 4 for you?
4, I chose Finnish centerman Anton Lundell for Florida Panthers draft pick. He was picked 12th overall in 2020. 6'1", 190 pounds. He's a left shot. This guy is a leader, man. He's a natural born leader. The Florida Panthers got a real gem, man. I really wanted him, or I didn't really want him. I really expected him to get picked higher in this draft.
So did I. I was so surprised he
He's got it
didn't get
all.
into the top 10.
Yeah, he's got everything to be a successful NHL player. And I mean, I believe his family is all professional hockey players. I believe his brother is a possible draft pick next year. I don't know if he's a high draft pick, but he could definitely be drafted. And I mean, he's got ties to professional hockey, and he's a natural born leader as far as I know and what I've seen. And I'll go over some stats now. And this is a guy playing in a pro league. This is Liga. This is compared to the KHL, but not as good. It's just a pro league, right? It's not a
Yeah.
junior league. It's not anything like that. This is men 30-something years old,
I
probably
would compare it
20-something
to the
years old.
SHL.
Yes, very similar. It's grown men he's playing against. In 19/20, sorry, he played 44 games in Liga. He had 10 goals, 18 assists, 28 points in 44 games. I think, was this after his draft year or his draft? I think this was his draft year. He got 28 games in 44 games. 20 points in 44 games. I get messed up my
I
words.
think it was going into his draft
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I got so many stats here, man. It just messes up your brain. 28 points in 44 games played. So, I mean, that's a really good year to play with, man. I mean, that's like almost as good as Capo Caco, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, like, it's good numbers, man, in a men's
for
league.
sure.
This year,
Anytime you
this
got a
past
boy
year,
playing against men too, it's
yeah,
even if
size
they,
difference.
yeah, oh man, and just experience and knowledge and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Anytime you're going to put up more than 20 points, it's impressive. So he
Yeah.
almost got 30.
This year, I'll tell you something really cool now. 2020/2021, he was assistant captain for his Liga team.
Oh man, I can only imagine being like a 44-year-old
Nine,
fella grinding out the entire for the last 10 years to try to become an A, and some 19-year-old
he's
steals it from
19
you.
years old, and he's got an A in a pro league.
That
That
is
tells you a lot about his
unreal.
character.
That's insane. I didn't
That
know
tells,
that.
yeah, that tells you a lot about his character, man. Too.
It
Like
does, yeah.
this guy is in it to win it. 26 games played, 16 goals, 9 assists, 25 points, almost a point per game in his second year in men's league. And I think he's going to make the Florida Panthers lineup because he's that good. And I think down the road, if what happens to Barkov, I don't know, but I can see this guy being a captain in the league. If it's not with the Florida Panthers, probably somewhere else. Because I think he's that type of player, like a Bo Horvat style player.
Yeah.
It's who I would compare him to, and I think he's got more upside than Bo Horvat. I think he's got.
I think he does too. I think his offensive abilities are
Yeah.
crazy good. I can't
So,
believe he he slipped that far in his draft. And I
Yeah,
mean, if
great
he's
pick.
an assistant right now at 19, imagine the leadership he's going to have when he's, a
26,
30-year-old
27.
vet.
Yeah, unbelievable. Some strengths I got written down for this guy is hockey IQ. He understands how to play the game at a high level. Puck protection. He's 6'1". He's a good size player. I mean, he understands how to protect the puck and get it in good areas. His passing and vision. He makes great passes. And his shooting. So he's not one guy he's not a one trick pony. He's not a setup man. He's not a sniper. He's a little bit of everything, and playing all situations, which is the ultimate leader, like we said. Um, Weaknesses is his speed. He's a little bit slower than NHL.
Yeah,
This level.
that's a big knock on him. I
So I
forgot about
mean,
that, but it's coming back to me now.
yeah. So I mean, this guy's gonna get fast. It's not like it's not something he can't fix. He's just gonna get more in shape and he's gonna get faster. I don't see an issue with that. And another knock on him is his creativity. He plays by the book a lot of the time, and sometimes it's good to play by the book, especially if you have a really hard coach. But sometimes you need to be a little bit creative. You need to, if you want to open up the game and maybe sneak in a few extra points. It's nice to be a little bit creative, and apparently he lacks that. But he plays the game by the book, and a lot of coaches like that, so he's going to be
Oh,
successful.
for sure. I'd say he's super coachable.
Yeah. So
That's
another
just a
one.
knock on him because hockey's a quick game, and I mean everything changes so quick, and you need to be able to make those decisions like anytime of to do something different that people won't expect, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
That's my pick.
great pick. I didn't have him on my list. I wish I did now because you're right. That's a great pick, and I think he
Because
definitely
I'm
makes the
right.
roster. Yeah, I think he definitely makes the Florida team
I hope so.
this year. He's going to be in, I don't know, bottom six because they just got crazy offense right now. But yeah, my fourth best prospect right now is actually Spencer Knight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think he's for my money, the best goalie that has less than 25 games played in the world in the NHL. I think this guy is going to be a stud. Not saying Askarov won't eventually get better, but for right now, um, it's not even a question for me. Spencer Knight's the number one guy here. So in 4 regular season games last year, he went 4-0, never dropped one game
Really, I never knew
in the
that. I never
NHL.
knew that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's a cool stat.
and you could say Florida Panthers were unreal last year at defense. 919 save percentage, so almost a 920 save percentage as what, a 19-year-old. So that's sick. In the playoffs, he played the last 2 games of the series with Tampa Bay, the
That tells
reigning
you a
Stanley
lot.
Cup
That tells you a
champion.
lot when they got a
Yeah,
goalie getting paid 10 mil.
yeah, exactly. And they had to bring in this young stud.
Young
So
gun.
he went
Yeah.
1-1. So he actually did get a win in there. And in that win, again, you could say small, I don't know, sample, and I don't know, the team's just great. Obviously, they were in the playoffs and took Tampa to 7 games. He had a 933 save percentage in those 2 games.
That's amazing, man. I think
Yeah,
Florida was Tampa's toughest challenge this year.
I thought that was yeah, same. I thought that was a great series, and he was a great storyline too. It was just like Bob had a couple bad games. It's like, when are you going to put the kid in? The kid comes in and plays game 6 and 7 when you have
Yeah.
Bob there getting paid.
Yeah. I mean, that says a lot about his future, especially with that team. And I think he could pass Bobrovsky this year. I mean, easily.
Yeah, and unlike Quentin Byfield, I think he will get the reps, and I think he is a consideration for Calder. Like, see, last year he didn't get a lot of games in because Drieger was hot, but now that Drieger's gone, they got a lot of confidence in this kid.
Yeah.
So if Bob has another bad year, this guy's going to be really relied on.
Yeah. Florida's made a lot of good moves, man, but that Bob move was a bit tough. But,
Yeah,
they made so many good moves that it makes that one a little bit less painful,
yeah,
but
and
it's still painful at the same time.
it's one of those circumstances earlier where I was talking about, like, I'd never want to pay a goalie like close to 9 or 10 million just because it goes so bad over time. And if
it's
goalies
tough,
are like that, goalie is a really mental position, so you can't train your way out of a bad rut. It's kind of just like,
it's difficult to be a goalie, man. It's hardest job
yeah,
in the league.
for sure. What about your number 3?
Number 3, I have Caufield, right wing for the Montreal Canadiens.
Nice.
2019, 15th overall. He's 5'7", 165 pounds. He's a mite, man. He's not very big. Right shot. And he's 20 years old. So he's he was drafted a few years ago, and he's getting a bit older, and he's about to shine. I think this guy's got massive potential as a goal scorer. I don't necessarily think he's going to be the best two-way player, but I think he's going to score a lot of goals. And you know, like we were talking about Patrick Kane, he's that type of player. He's not a guy who's going to put the team on his back and play both sides of the ice really well, but he's a guy who's going to score a lot of goals and be flashy, and he's going to sell a lot of jerseys probably. So,
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
yeah. NCAA in 2019, 2020, he played 36 games. He had 19 goals, 17 assists, 36 points, point per game. Nothing wrong with that. He actually got close to similar goals and assists, like it's 19 to 17. That's pretty weird for this guy because all he does is score. So that was a bit of a weird stat when I looked at it.
Yeah.
He goes into 2020/2021 and NCAA. He plays 31 games, 30 goals, 22 assists, 52 points. Absolutely lights it up. I believe he won the award. Is it what is it?
Toby Baker.
Toby Baker is the most valuable NCAA player.
Yeah, that's a good one to win. Usually, people that win the Toby Baker one do some pretty impressive things. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that shows you how good he is. He's unreal goal scorer, man. That same year he plays in the AHL. This was this past season. 2 games in the AHL, 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points. I mean, he's over a goal per game in the AHL. I know small sample size, but he can score against pro players. And it showed that there. And then obviously Montreal just couldn't wait to get their hands on him. So they put him in 10 games in the regular season. 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 points for the Canadiens. Nothing wrong with that, man, for a pure goal scorer. 4 goals in 10 games. I mean, that's a pretty good look for your first 10 games. I mean, Matthews scored 4 goals in his first game, so he's obviously not on that level. Let's be honest. I mean, Matthews probably had 8 goals by that point, so we're not going to compare him to Matthews. That's a bit unfair. We both know that. So, no, but honestly, this guy's he's got potential to win a Rocket. I don't know if he does because I mean, Matthews is in the league. I mean, Matthews just scores so much.
It's going to be a great rivalry, though.
Yeah,
Matthews versus Caufield. That's going to be the new.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ovi versus Sid. Well, not that big, but
not that big, man. Jesus, I wouldn't call.
Well, obviously not. They weren't drafted in the same year or anything, or these crowd weren't either. But
I don't think Cole Caulfield. I don't know if he's going to win a lot of awards, but I feel like he's going to be that guy who's going to be in the Rocket conversation every year. 40 goal scorer, I think you can pretty much put it on lock. I think he's going to score 40 goals eventually. Sorry. I don't know if he gets 50. Maybe he's a 50 goal scorer, man. He's got a lot of potential, so he could reach 50.
He does. He does have a lot of potential.
He could score 50 goals and 40 goals, and he's probably going to be in that range every year, 40 to 50, 40 to 50. And he might have a bad year, he gets 30, but I mean, happens to everybody. And I think he's just going to be a great player who's going to help Montreal go on some playoff runs. I don't think he's going to be the captain. I think Suzuki is the future captain. I think Suzuki's the guy. I think it's Suzuki, then Caufield.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't put him in that Sid Ovi potential area because
I guess you're right. Yeah.
You look at a guy like You look at a guy like Matthews, and he's a guy. You look at a guy like McDavid, he's a guy. Ovi's a guy. Crosby's a guy. I don't think Caufield's a guy. I think he's the other guy. But he's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
man.
I guess with those guys, like I said, Ovi type, you're looking for a player that can drag you into the playoffs. And I'm not sure right now. Oh, well, obviously, the kid's fucking like 20 years old.
Yeah.
Can drag him into the playoffs. But, yeah, we'll see. I think he's going to be a great player, too. I think the guy gets a couple Rockets. I think he even gets a Hart, kind of just the same way like a Taylor Hall got the Hart.
Yeah,
I kind of think just has a year where he absolutely pops off and drags his team into the playoffs. So maybe he's the guy. Maybe I'll eat my words a little bit right now. Because I just said he wasn't the guy, but he sounds like the guy when I say it in my head.
Yeah.
I say it out loud.
I guess we got a different look on that, but I don't want to take anything away from him. I think he's going to score 40 to 50 a year, man. That's not many people do that. So I just don't think he has all the other tools to be the complete player. But that's where I'm going to get into strengths and weaknesses. I wrote down as a strength, deadly shot, speed and skating, soft hands. I mean, he's very Patrick Kane like in that sense.
Yep.
He's got the speed and he's got the soft hands, but he has a deadly shot. Weaknesses, he doesn't have very much size. I mean, the guy's like a dwarf. I don't want that was
The
kind
guy's
of
like a
mean.
12-year-old man.
Yeah, but
Like I
he's
could fist fight this guy and win, even though this guy's a pro athlete.
yeah, yeah, and he's got an insane skill, but he's doesn't have the size, man. So I feel like maybe I know size doesn't matter as much, but you get to the late part of the season, everybody's ramping up for the playoffs. I feel like that's when this guy probably drops off a bit scoring wise. Games get
Yeah.
tighter, but I mean he's still going to score a lot of goals. And the other weaknesses, um, geez, what the fuck do I wrote here? Needs to play better defensively. I mean, that's what they had wrote down on the website. Did a bit of research, and apparently he doesn't like to handle the puck in a defensive zone. And apparently, when he makes a mistake on the ice, most of the time it's not in center ice, it's not an offensive zone. He'll turn it over in the defensive zone. So comes with time, and a lot of goal scorers get better at that as they get older. Some don't. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens with him.
I mean, the first 5 years Ovi was in the league, that's all people were saying. Just he only plays in the offense. He's not a 200-foot player, but I think he has kind of adjusted to that and has gotten better ever since, say, like 2012, 2013 ish. I think he's been working a lot on his defensive game.
Yeah, and I mean it's
So
probably gonna happen with this guy too. He's gonna work on that because everybody wants to get better when you're that good. So
yeah,
yeah, it's my number three.
nice. My number three is Moritz Cider. Call me a homer if you want, but I think this guy's the best. Like I said for Spencer Knight, I said Spencer was the best goalie under 25 games played. I think Moritz is the best defenseman, like by far under 25 games played. Um, in 49 games in the AHL in 2019, the guy scores 22 points. So his first year on North American ice, um, what are you going to do? Like he's not meant to be a goal scorer anyway. I should have got his plus minus for you because that would be more of a determining factor of his
Yeah,
defensive abilities. But
yeah,
um, anyway, and then obviously the AHL never had a season last year, so we went back to the SHL. In 41 games, he got 28 points and won the Defenseman of the Year in a men's league.
that's
And
insane. I know.
2 years before that, he won Rookie of the Year. So he comes back 2 years later, bigger, stronger, and a bit of experience on North American ice. Comes back and wins Best Defenseman of the league. This year in the uh, World Internationals or whatever. Uh,
I
fuck.
I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. He got 5 points in 10 games, so half a point a game with Germany for the last year, and he won best defenseman in the tournament. So everywhere this guy goes, he just
He
wins best
wins. He
defenseman and
wins.
best
Yeah,
rookie.
yeah,
Something he's not going to win a scoring title. No, I don't think he gets a Calder because he's not like a Cale Makar type or Quinn Hughes. Um,
yeah,
he's not going to be able to get you a lot of points, but he can eat minutes and he's a big body, and he's great defensively.
yeah. And you're right, man. And as you were talking, I quickly while I was listening, I searched up his plus and minus. Figured I'd bring that in because this guy might be on my list too, and I'd like to know that myself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was a -5 in the AHL, which kind of shocked
Ouch.
me.
Bad bounce. But
But in the
first
SHL, where
year
he
and
won SHL when he won best defenseman, he was +14, along with 28 points. So that's
yeah,
good, man.
nice.
So I mean, this guy's top level defenseman. Um, he's 6'4", 207 pounds.
Oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds like
Might be on a
it sounds
list.
like you might have it handy
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, all this guy does is put up great numbers in every category, plus minus. I mean, -5 in Grand Rapids. Who gives a fuck? Um, 28 points in SHL. I mean, to do that at such young age as a defenseman is really difficult. And um, I think he's going to step into the NHL seamlessly. I think he's going to have maybe a 20, 30-point year over 82 games. I don't think it's going to be one of those seasons where it's a lot of points. It's just going to be like, let's say he has like 28 points again in the NHL in 82 games, and he's a plus like 12 on a Detroit team that's not amazing. I mean, that's a successful
No,
year.
he's not going to be that. It's going to be like in Grand Falls, Moritz Cider there playing in Bishop Falls for the Cataracts or something. Jesus, the hell's wrong with me? In Grand Rapids, uh, it's going to be one of those years. It's going to be a learning
Yeah.
year. He's going to come in,
Yeah.
probably play top four, eat a lot of minutes, learn a lot about the North American game just further, where he was in the SHL last year. And just get acquainted with it. And then next year, I think, is where he comes into his own. But I think for my money, he's the best defenseman under 25 games affiliated with NHL team. And I'm
You could
so
win a
excited to
Norris
watch him
in
play.
5 years.
I wouldn't give it 5 unless he's like fucking Adam Fox or something. But I would say later in his career, he definitely wins a Norris.
Yeah.
Detroit got to get better before he can
Really show
win
how
some
good he is.
awards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good
Detroit's
pick,
on the come up, man.
Yeah.
2026, Detroit will have a cup, or at least be close. I'm giving it
I
5
think you're
more
right.
years, man.
I think you're right.
I think Stevie Y has a plan that he's had since day one, and he's coming into it. Yeah.
I think you're right, man.
You got a number 2 pick for me, or what?
Dude, I don't know if you've heard of him before. His name's Moritz Cider.
Nice. Yeah,
Different-
I think I was talking about that guy a while ago, man. I can't remember what we were
Yeah.
talking about now, but I think he come up in a conversation I was having.
Yeah, wrote down here in bold, top D man. So that shows you what I think of this guy. He's a top D man.
Let's go. Let's go.
And strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, decision making. Off the prospect side, I got and skating and defensive awareness and passing. So he's pretty much the perfect guy to kill a penalty, the perfect guy to eat 20 plus minutes every night.
Yeah.
Good decision making, man. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and when he does, he finds a way to recover because he's fast skater and he just has awareness of where he is on the ice. For weaknesses, I put down puck skills. He's not good at the deking around the puck and just being crafty.
He's too long, man. He's too long.
Yeah,
he's not shifty.
Yeah, that's a critique that those scouts had, and another critique that I had wrote down earlier about Anton Lundell: creativity. This guy plays by the book too. He's not gonna flick it behind his back and sauce it to the defenseman.
You won't see him get a Michigan goal this year, I don't think.
No, I don't think so. He's pretty by the book. I mean, he just plays the game the right way, which is not a bad thing. But sometimes you need to open the game up. And that's where you need a bit of creativity. I don't think he's going to give you that, but you got other players to do that. You got Lucas Raymond. He's gonna come up with some of that stuff, and you got some other guys there who are gonna help with that. So I wouldn't worry.
And Edvinson, we just drafted him. I think he's more creative and more offensive.
Yeah.
So I think the plan is Cider and Edvinson.
Cider is gonna shut him down, and Edvinson's gonna
light him up.
Maybe run the power play, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my pick. I don't have much else to say on him. We talked about him for a while.
Yeah, I think it. I don't know, that by the book, defensive awareness, passing, decision making. I think that's why he is getting like defenseman of the year in the SHL and best defenseman in the tournament of the IIHF. He's a great defenseman, and I mean these points aren't bad. He's usually clipping at like just above half a point per game too.
Yeah, that's good.
So I mean, 82 games, 40-point defenseman.
He's a really good passer. He's good at moving the puck.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't give a fuck if he gets 1 point as long as his plus minus is fucking unreal. As long as this guy like does not let anyone score a goal on Nedeljkovic this year, I don't give a shit if he scores 1 goal. I don't honestly. I'd love to see it though, because I think he is going to be my favorite defenseman in a couple of years.
Yeah. That's my pick.
Awesome. Great pick. I love it.
I know you do.
Yeah. So there's 2 Trevors on the podcast today, because there's also Trevor Ziegers joining us. 9th overall in 2019. He's just the most creative guy I've ever seen, drafted in recent years anyway. Like Patrick Kane all the way, just what this guy can do with the puck. Just I don't know. I love watching him in warm-ups and stuff like that. He's just so creative and fast, and he's great deker, great shooter, great in World Juniors. I don't know. I'll throw some stats now. So he had 13 points in 24 NHL games last year, which is almost half a point per game
pretty good,
for an
man.
18-year-old. So
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like, and where Anaheim doesn't have a lot of offensive pieces around, I can almost kind of say right now that he was behind a lot of those points. Like he wasn't just getting tap-ins. Like he actually
He had to
worked for
work.
those points, and
Yeah.
him and Drysdale are going to be I don't know, great together. I think
I think
he'll get a lot of ice time this year too, because where they are lacking those pieces for the offense, he's going to get every touch on the power play, and probably some time in the top six. It wouldn't surprise me if he was playing third line to start the year, but I think by the second he's consistently on the second, or start the year on the third line. Sorry, and then he's going to be on second consistently.
He's gonna work his way there. He's gonna be first line eventually. I mean, maybe a year he's first line.
Yeah,
He's
but
that good.
the weird thing is he was drafted 9th overall, so you're not really drafting a guy 9th overall that you're saying is definitely going to be a top line in the league. But I think people are looking at him now like, yeah, this guy is definitely a top line center.
Oh, I see it, man. I see it, and him leading, not necessarily leading being the captain, but just leading them offensively every game.
Yeah, I don't think he gets to see. I think maybe McTavish does. McTavish seems like a better leader.
He's cool, man. He's a cool player to watch.
He's like a cucumber, man.
Yeah.
But I think Ziegers is first line now, and then you kind of got McTavish to play a Getzlaff type role.
McTavish can play on the wing too. So I
Can he?
mean,
Oh
yeah, he's
man,
played on the wing and center.
those two would be great. Those two would be like a
Two,
Cannon Tays.
yeah, two different feels because you got McTavish coming in to hit you and play hard and
Yeah,
like aggressive, and then you got Zegers to put the puck between your legs, and make you look stupid.
yeah. Let's go
I don't even
Ducks.
really like Anaheim. Actually, yes, I do. I like Anaheim.
I like Anaheim.
Yeah.
I didn't like them until like 2012 though.
I don't love
They
them.
fucking took
I don't
Ottawa
love
to the playoffs in 2007.
I like them. I don't love them.
Yeah. No, they're a middling team for me too.
One of my favorite jerseys of all time, though. That's
oh
what
yeah,
I get at.
the Mighty Duck.
Yeah. That's a great pick, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Nothing wrong with that.
Now I think all the viewers are getting angsty, to hear who you had at number one.
Well, it's got to be the guy that I had stats on that I haven't spoken about yet, Quentin Byfield.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I got him number one.
Yeah, I was waiting for this guy to come up. Yeah, it does. Stats, weight, age, height, eye color, freaking what kind of car he drives, his license plate, his home address, his phone number,
social insurance number. Yeah, everything. I don't know if they have those in the States. He's originally from
I don't
Canada,
know.
so sorry. Center for the LA Kings, second overall in 2020 behind Lafreniere, 6'4", 220 pounds, left shot, 19 years old. I look at this guy differently than all other prospects. You look at guys like Ziegers and Caufield, and well, that's pretty good examples. They're gonna get the chance to be on the top line. They're gonna get the chance to be the big time players. I don't think Quentin Byfield gets that chance, so I think it's gonna be a harder transition. I got him wrote down as a top 5 prospect. I got him at 1 because I think in the end, when it's all said and done, I think this guy is the highest ceiling out of anybody. I think he plays. I mean, I've seen it everywhere online. He plays similarly to Evgeny Malkin. I mean, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't have the injury history like Malkin when it's all
No.
said and done. But 6'4", man. He's built like an NHL player before he was drafted, man. He was playing in Sudbury, just like a monster. Nobody
Just
could get the
running
puck
over
off this
kids,
guy.
man. These poor kids are like
Yeah.
5'8". These
Yeah.
kids he was playing around look like Caufield, just run them over.
Yeah. He's the highest drafted black player too, which is really cool. That's something special for him.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And anyways, in the OHL in 2019/2020, 45 games, 32 goals, 50 assists, 82 points in 45 games. So I mean, it's OHL. Don't look a lot into it like that, but I mean, he was the youngest draft eligible player that year, and for him to go second as youngest draft eligible and like almost doubled his points per game. I mean, that's pretty good, man, because he's young, man. He's been the youngest player wherever he's went. He's played World Juniors team. He was the youngest player on that.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's got those extra years to lean on like some players, and he's got work, and he's always young, so it's a little bit harder to get in when you're younger. And the AHL this past year, 2020, 2021, I believe he's the youngest player to ever play in the AHL, actually, age
Really?
wise,
That's cool. That's a cool
with,
stat to have.
with his birthday. And he still put up 20 points in 32 games played. He had 8 goals, 12 assists. As the youngest player to ever play in the league, as far as I know, I might have that mixed up, but I'm fairly certain that he's the youngest player to play in that league.
I know he was the youngest player last year.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that says a lot, man. The youngest guy to play in the league, and he's 12 points below a point per game, which is a little bit, but I mean, I'm sure he was dangling around second to third line center. He was up and down. So, he's good point totals, and
He's
the
trying to feel it
upside's
out.
there. Yeah, man, the upside's there. And he played it 6 games in the NHL, and he had 1 assist, which doesn't. He wasn't getting the big minutes. Cole Caulfield came in right away. He was like second line wing, man. Like, after hop, this
Yeah.
guy was playing third to fourth line, just trying to dig his way into a role. So it's different. You can't really compare that. I don't think it's fair yet till you get, like, let's say 100 and something games under their belt. Then you can start comparing, because every team's got different ways to bring him in. So you can't just judge him by 10 games and say he's way better than this guy. I don't think that's fair.
So exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah, kind of. But I don't.
Can't do that.
This is just how I
No.
feel about the guy. I
Yeah,
think
exactly. This is just for a bit of fun. We're not making any money or trying
a
to win
couple
a
of
Stanley
years,
Cup.
man. Yeah, a couple of years, man. Give him a few games. He's gonna figure it out. And I got his strengths here. Hockey IQ, knows how to play the game, puck control. I mean, he's big body. I mean, especially in OHL, he was just like nobody could get the puck off him because he control it. That he's got that reach, and he can put his
Yeah.
body in the way. Um, Passing and his vision. He's got really good vision. He makes good passes. He can really good backhand. He can sauce the puck on the backhand well, and between the legs, and just a little few things that not every player can do well. He can do that, and it's good stick handling and power. He's really powerful. What he wants to do, really
It's
powerful
like a
shot.
horse, man.
Yeah, and his weaknesses. One weakness, actually, which is surprising, is physicality. He's not physical enough.
Yeah, a lot of
I
people
think he
said
should
that.
be.
He said they should be he should be throwing his body around every chance he
Yeah,
gets, but he plays like a skill player instead of kind of a grinder type.
Yeah, if he works his way into being more physical, I think that's gonna give him a lot more opportunities to score points, because they're gonna put him in a better position. So I think he knows that. I think a lot of people probably told him that, honestly, and he's probably working on, like, putting himself in places to play physical hockey and create opportunities for himself. And another thing, weakness would be his faceoffs. He's not a very good faceoff man, which is not good, because you need to be good at faceoffs to play in NHL. But Nick Suzuki's a terrible faceoff man for Montreal, actually. And I mean, I know they talk about that a lot, because I don't know that myself, but they talk about that on Sportsnet and TSN. They say this guy's got to work on faceoffs. Philip Deneau's gone. Like,
Yeah, that's going to come up a
yeah.
lot this year. That Philip Deneau's kind of got no one to win faceoffs for him now.
Yeah, I mean, Suzuki is the ultimate player. The one thing he needs to add is those big defensive zone faceoff wins, and he's next level. Like, he's working his way up to being a superstar. So that's kind of knock on Quentin Byfield too. He doesn't win many faceoffs. It's almost like he doesn't try sometimes. He's just, just whatever. Like, well, it's not a goal. It's only a faceoff. Don't worry about it. Which is,
Yeah.
I guess it's something you got to work on if you want to play the NHL. And then the last weakness is speed sometimes. Um, he's a bigger guy. Apparently, he can get gas in certain situations,
Yeah,
which is
I can
something,
see it.
he's going to work on it, and it's going to be fixed. I mean, if he's going to play in the NHL, I'm sure he's been working on his speed all summer, and he's going to continue to do so. So I wouldn't look into that too much. 2 years, he's going to be flying.
Yeah,
Wouldn't worry about it.
definitely with his physicality, I think he needs to.
Yeah.
I don't know. He probably thinks that he's smaller just where he's always been the young guy. He probably
Yeah.
thinks that he's a lot smaller than he is. So he's like, I can't throw the body against these guys. These guys are like, 10 years older than me, but he could truck them. And I think if
Yeah,
he
if he
played with
wanted
that
to, yeah.
edge, if he played with that edge, he would
Yeah.
have a lot more space for himself and be able to get around better. As far as his speed goes, I didn't really notice his speed. Probably just his durability or his stamina.
Endurance.
Endurance, that's the word, yeah. And but faceoffs, yeah, that's a huge thing. But I think
When
it
you get
could work
older,
out in his favor, just because if they put him to the wing, I mean, he'd get so many more chances on the wing than in center because they got Turcotte, they got Deneau, they got Anze Kopitar, they got so many centers coming
everybody.
up. Yeah, so I think if he transitions to left wing, I think he gets so many more chances. But it's just hard again because he's probably used to just playing the middle up and down. So now he'd have to play
It's a
corners
different,
and
yeah, it's a
use his
different way
body
of
and stuff.
playing. So I think he's gonna work on faceoffs. He'd probably be a good faceoff man when it's all said and done.
I don't know. You look the league still respects big centers like Evgeny and Pittsburgh, um, Getzlaff and Anaheim. Like you still need a huge, or not a
He's
huge,
gonna
but
be
like
the center man. He's gonna be the first line center man. You just don't take a guy like this and throw him on the wing forever. He's gonna play center when he gets figured out. I don't see that as a problem in the future. Right now, it's a bit questionable, but 3 or 4 years down the line, he's second line, first line center, and I think he's got a Hart Trophy and it works. I think this guy is good, man. And everybody digs into his numbers so much. Oh, Tim
I
Stutzel's
know.
better. It's a different situation. This guy's so much younger. This guy's almost a year younger than Tim Stutzel. I mean, it's a different situation, man. You can't look into that. I think people like uh, to see where players are drafted and judge them right away. You got to give him
Yeah.
time. I think this guy's got a Hart Trophy, man, in his future. I don't know if he wins a cup in LA or anything, but I think he's a
LA's
70 to
got the
80 point
pieces coming
player.
up, man.
I think he can get 80 points a season, man. I think this guy is elite, and a lot of people don't see it, but I'm gonna stick to my guns until 15 years down the road, and when I'm in the wheelchair rolling around, somebody can say, "You know what, Steven, you're fucking stupid, man. You thought Quentin Byfield was gonna be a good hockey player." Like, yeah, I know. Well,
No, he's on my list. The way I built my list though is I did as of this second. So as of this second, I don't think Byfield's better than my other four players, but I think in the long run, yeah, he does. He does get a first line spot on any team he's with. Like it was still a question. Like if he wasn't going against like Lafreniere, like he probably could have went first overall in a lot of drafts. So yeah, that's a good pick. Um, yeah, and great breakdown of his play too, and all his strengths and weaknesses. I wish I
thanks,
did
man.
something like that too now, but I guess you live and you learn.
Live and you learn.
So yeah, you haven't heard his name yet, and I picked him for to win the Calder, so you're gonna hear his name again now. Cole Caulfield, I think, is the best player right now under 25 games played by an NHL team. Um, so I'll just break down. So last year he played 70 games between AHL, college, and the NHL, and he scored 43 goals. So not bad, kid, I guess. And then eight of those goals came in his 30 NHL games. Um, so that's playoffs and regular season. He had 20. He had 20 playoff games, so that's hard hockey. And he had 4 goals
He
then.
played really well for some portions of that too. Like he was playing really well. Some portions he had a
I
few
mean, he scored huge goals. He was getting
mistakes.
OT winners.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
being 18, 19 years old and your coach trusting you to go on overtime of a playoff game. I
He
think
played
they were
really well
hesitant to
there for
bring
a
him
while.
in last year just for his size, and I know they wanted to take their time with Caufield. They were seeing what Detroit does and how good their prospects come up. Says, boss, we got to do something like that. But I mean, he lit up college, he lit up the AHL. Like, what are you gonna do? Just let him
Right.
play down there. So no, you bring him up, and that was the right call because I don't think they would have made that playoff run without him.
Yeah, man, he
Honestly,
was an important piece at certain points. I mean, he was scratched a few times because got to get the veterans in, got to get Eric Stahl some reps. He's ancient, got to get him in there, make sure he don't seize up. But
yeah, gotta keep him greased.
yeah,
um, I mean, the guy can score from anywhere though, and now that he has experience and confidence in the NHL, I don't see there's any reason why he doesn't win the Calder. And Trevor Ziegers was saying that he was going to score 40 this year.
I don't think
I
so.
mean, I don't think he scores 40 this year, but I
No,
think he scores 50 eventually, and I think he wins a couple Rockets for
I think
sure.
he scores 30 this year.
I think he scores
30, 31.
I think he scores 25 to 30. I can't see him scoring more than 30. 30 games from rookies a lot, but all the same, he will be playing top six. and getting
Yeah.
all the time on the power play.
Yeah, Matthews scored 40. Are you kidding? I was so
We'll
butthurt.
see. I'd love to see Cole score because I love to see players that have fun playing the game, and
Yeah, he's gonna be a good
probably
player, man.
he's probably he's all smiles out there, and I love watching him play. Because I know that's what I'm like on the ice. I'm smiling the whole time, having fun,
Yeah.
working my ass off, trying to get a couple goals in beer league, trying to score 30 in my rookie season this
Oh
year,
yeah.
and
Yeah. Get that big
in
contract.
friggin' St. John's beer league. So
Yeah. That's a
yeah,
good list, man.
so what I'm saying is, me and Cole Caulfield are pretty much the same player, same
Yeah,
skill
pretty
and everything.
much. Yeah. I should look in the
Yeah.
sun in you.
Yeah, I mean, if Montreal would just give me a chance, man, and call me already, they might
Yeah.
like what can I bring, but
Yeah.
that's
Going with the
it.
wooden
They're
Sherwood,
lost.
wooden Titan.
Yeah, and a Jofa bucket. I don't got it
Yeah.
in here. Shit,
Yeah.
but great list, man.
Yeah.
You
You
gave a
too.
lot of great explanations. You brought a lot to the table, a lot more to the table than I did. So I'll have
Wouldn't
to
say
step up
that.
my game next
I
pod.
wouldn't say
So,
that.
no, what a
Yeah, it's a good
time.
list, man. It's a
Yeah,
good podcast. Yeah, well, I guess
fucking
this is
right it
it,
is, man.
man.
Best in Newfoundland.
Episode 3, episode 4 next week sometime is going to be recorded on Sunday, I guess. So hope everybody who watches. And actually, before we go, the guy from Hesse, Germany, you're a legend, man. I hope you keep watching these videos. And we had somebody from Virginia listen to it, not watch, but he listened to the podcast through Spotify or Apple or Anchor. So thanks for that. It's nice to have a German guy listening, and I think I'm gonna have it on more. Well, we're gonna have it on more platforms soon. I'm working on that, so I mean, it's not like anybody listens to anything else anyway, so I'm not too fucking worried about it. But just to
Yeah.
do it, so it should be
Uh,
done this week.
for sure. German guy, if you know Moritz Cider, give him my number. Tell him to tune into the podcast. I want to get him on
Yeah,
for a preseason review.
yeah,
Yeah, guy from Virginia. I don't know any hockey players from Virginia. I'll have to get you my list next week. But thanks for tuning in. You guys are fucking beauties. All of our 20 listeners. So
18.
thanks, guys. You guys are what makes the us keep doing this. You guys
Yes,
put
yeah,
food on our tables. I
yeah,
fucking love you guys.
yeah. See you next week, buddy.
See you next week, boss. Thanks for tuning in.